All right, guys. All right. Welcome to Frank Teaches DevOps. My lovely viewers. Yesterday um we saw some parts, of we saw multi-stage. All right, we saw multi-stage building Docker images using the concept of multi-staging. And then we also later saw um, Docker volumes, all right, volumes for implementing data persistency. And we were very opportune to see different types of volumes. We saw the binding volume, we saw the normal volume, and we saw the anonymous volume. And we implemented everything. And we were told that the binding volume is when you create a directory and you try to use a directory to map to a storage inside of the container. That is a binding volume. A normal volume is when you create a volume using the Docker volume create command. And the anonymous volume is when you are not mapping anything to a directory inside of the container. It's going to create for you an anonymous volume. Okay, so yeah. And today we will be looking at networking. All right, networking. So far, you start wondering, you'll be wondering, Docker. How are they communicating? All right. How are they communicating? How are the containers talking to each other? Let me give us an instance. Let me give an instance. Docker images. There are no images here. Or let me go into my directory that I created, network. Now, let me just run a simple container. Let me run docker run -dit. The name is CentCon, based on CentOS and CentOS. Yeah. So I'm going to have this guy. I'm also going to have an Ubuntu as well. So let's check. Great. So Docker images, I have that. Now Docker PS, I have my CentOS container running. So let me create another. Well, let me use Ubuntu this time around. So docker run -dit. Name is Ubuntu. All right. Then based on what? Ubuntu. Great. Now I have two containers. So Docker PS. Two solid containers. One is CentCon and the other is Ubuntu. All right. Now, these guys have IP addresses, but don't know. But let's inspect them. I'll say Docker inspect the container name. Container name is what? CentCon. Now let's go to the section that says networking settings. And you can see IP address 172.17.0. Let's look at something. Okay. The kind of driver this guy uses is called bridge. It's using the bridge driver. I'll explain all of these. And also using the bridge network. The network is what? Bridge. And this is the gateway. This is the IP. All right. So now let's also check inspects. Wait, let me hide this sheet, guys. Hide floating. Now inspect Ubuntu. Let's see. So Ubuntu is what? 0.3. The same network. All right. So by default, every container emanates from the default network. So every container that you create on Docker, in Docker, uses the same network. They share the same network. Except you are familiar with Docker networking, then you can now want to, separate, create your own network and do your thing by yourself, right? So now that being said, let's do a Docker exec into the CentCon and bash. Okay, so I want to check my IP address. Okay, I need to install. I can't use ifconfig. Ifconfig is not there, so I need to install a tool called nettools. I'll say yum install net-tools. Let's see. What does it say? Oh, this is latest. This is latest. This is rubbish, man. This is rubbish. CentOS 8. Go to download. Yum updates. It's not communicating. It's not communicating. Wait, let me try pinggoogle.com. I can ping Google. So why is it not upstream? Oh, no URL fan. Wait, let me abolish this guy. Let me abolish it. So Docker. I'm having challenge because of the latest version of CentOS. Docker rm-f CentCon. Right. So let me use a lower version. All right. So I'll say Docker run -dit. Name is CentCon. Then CentOS version 7. CentOS version 7. I think this should be fine. CentOS version 7. All right. So now let's do Docker exec. Docker exec. I'm inside. Now ifconfig. I don't have it. Let me try to install it. Yum install nettools. Sorry. Nettools. Right. So I have nettools now. Install. Great. So now let's use ifconfig. So you can see I can use ifconfig now. You can see my IP address of my container is what is of this CentOS container is 0.2. Okay. Similarly, if I exit, if I exec with Ubuntu, I do, there's no ifconfig here, right? So I have to install apt install net-tools. Let's check. After updates, always update Ubuntu. Apt update to download the latest package, right? Then you can install. Perfect. Now I can install. Let's install now. You can see I have it now. It has been installed. So I can check my IP address, ifconfig. I have what? 0.3. So now I want to ping CentOS, that's CentOS container. So I'll say ping. Ping who? 172.17.0.3.2, sorry. So ping as a command is not found. All right. So what provides ping? What provides ping? What provides ping? Is it yum install? Sorry, no, it's not yum. Apt install ping. Let me check something. Asterisk. Let me look at what provides ping. There should be a package. Packaging. This is installing everything. You're not supposed to install a lot of packages like this. So I don't know the package name. Let me say no. Let me exit. Let me try to do it on CentOS. Ping. CentOS has ping. CentOS has ping. Ubuntu. Let me install everything now. Let's install everything. Let me install ping. Let me say yes. But there's a specific package for it. I'm not supposed to install everything like this. I don't go install the whole community. Ping, 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 ping. All right, so installed. So let's check now. Eyo, I still don't get ping. A pinky I will get. Now let me check. Go on Google, guys. Go on Google. This is Google. See what? Ping command, not fan, Ubuntu. Where's the package? Ping command, not fan. I'm supposed to install something. There's a package and okay, IP utils, guys. IP utils dash ping. That's a package you need to install. So I'll say apt remove ping. So it's remove all those packages that's I installed. It has been removed. Then you sure? It's remove again already. Okay. Okay. Now I can run auto remove. Apt auto remove. Whenever you're working with Ubuntu, that's how Ubuntu behaves. All right. So apt auto remove will remove every package that are still lying behind. All right. So that's it. So now if I do apt remove now, sorry, apt remove the package name ping, telling that nothing, all right? Even if I put asterisk, because they're all gone, all right? So let's install now. Apt install who IP utils dash ping. I think this should have that guy. Yes, just a single package you are installing. You can see it. IP utils. So now I can use ping. You can see I have ping. So ping 172.17.0.2. So this .0.2 is the CentOS container, right? So you can see I can reach the CentOS container from the Ubuntu container. Similarly, if I exit, right, I try to exec with the CentOS container. Check my IP is 0.2. So I can ping 172.17.0.3, which is the Ubuntu. You can see. So they can talk back and forth. All right. They can talk what? Back and forth. So let's go back to our whiteboard. So now whiteboard, we have it down, Docker networking. Docker networking. All right. So as you all know, networking is used to create access between one resource to another resource. Right. Now, in the context of Docker, it is creating communication between two containers, container A and container B. So we have a container A, which is CentCon, and we have another, which is what? Ubuncon. So these guys, they share the same network called what? Bridge. Bridge, the bridge network. All right. So since they share the same network, they are meant to talk to each other. They share the same network. So they are meant to what? Talk to what? Each other, back and forth. All right, great. Now, let's look at Docker network properly. Docker network, enter. So Docker network enter is going to show me a lot of commands. I'll see Docker network connect to connect a container to a network. Docker network create to create a network. Docker network disconnect to disconnect a container from a network. Inspect, display detailed information on one or more networks. Docker network list, Docker network prawn, you can delete dangling networks, and Docker network remove to delete a network. All right, so let's see something. Docker network, let's see the network that we have. Docker network ls. So you can see these are when you install Docker. So Docker by default comes with these three networks. You can see the network ID, the network name, the driver that controls the network, the scope, at what level is that network, right? So you have the bridge network, the host network, and the non-network. Let's explain. So the bridge network, as name implies, all right, it is network used by default. It is a network used by default by containers, right? Containers in your Docker environment uses what? The bridge network. Now, host network is used if you want to communicate between, you want a communication between the host machine, and the container, right? The host machine and the container. Then you're going to create the type, the driver as, one second, guys. You're going to create the driver as, 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 you're going to create it as, you're going to create it as a host. One second, guys. All right. So, yeah. So again, one thing I need to show us again is as these networks are, as these ports are, these ports can only communicate with their IP addresses. This guy is 172.17.0.2. That is this CentCon. Then Obuncon is .3. Buncon is .3. So they can only talk to each other. You can only ping them by their words, IP addresses. They can't be pinged by their names. I'm saying. And then I'm surprised, guys. All right. So the funny thing is that these containers can only talk with their IP addresses. They can't talk with their name. For instance, now, if I let's exec back. Let me exec back into the CentCon. I'm inside of the CentCon, so I want to ping the Obuncon by its name and not by its IP address. So I say Obuncon. It will tell me that name or service not known. There's a reason for all of these. The reason why I can't ping either of these containers by their name is that this network is a system network. So whenever your containers are being created from the system network, all right, you can't ping them by their name. Rather, you can only ping them by their IP address. But if I create my own network, let me call it Mnet. If I create my own network and attach these containers, I'm sorry, guys. And attach these containers to this network. I can ping these containers by their name, right? You can ping it by their name. We're going to see all of that, right? Great. So what else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Okay, create and yeah. So let's see by creating a network. All right. Now, by default, the driver, these are default drivers. You have the bridge, you have the host, and you have the null. So now I'm going to say Docker network create. Let's check for help. Let's see what have us help. All right. If I don't specify any driver, by default, the driver is what? Bridge. You can see it. Driver to manage the network. Default is what? Bridge. Okay. Now, again, if I don't specify my network range, my subnets, thank you. You can specify your subnet seeder. That is the range which your what's it called? Your network will pick from. That's a network seeder, your subnet. If you don't specify it, Docker is going to give you default subnets. All right. So let's try it and see. So if I say Docker network create what? Mnet. So in this now, I'm not specifying the driver because by default, this was bridge, except I want to change the driver. Then I'll now say dash dash driver or dash D. I'll now specify driver either bridge, null, none, or host. So these are the three kinds of what? Drivers, right? As seen here, Docker network list. As seen here, bridge, host, and null, right? Null means there's no network, there's no IP address. You want to isolate that container completely from the network. Then you give it what? A null driver. A null driver. So it means that that container will never have an IP address. Sorry, that network can never have an IP address. Let's try it and see. Let's start with the null. So I say Docker network creates. Create what? Mnet. With which driver? With the what? The null driver. So I hit enter. What does it say? Response from demo. Only one instance of null is allowed. Okay, bash. Only one instance. Why now? Wait. I recall. Only one instance is allowed. How can it be that? How can it be only one instance? 1, 2, 3. Can't be now. Only one instance of null. Let me check this error. Docker daemon. Let's check. Let's look at that error. Let's check. The non-network. Okay. I get it now. I get. So actually, it's only one instance. Yeah. But if you need to create a network, all right? If you need to create a container and attach it with a non-network, that container will not have an IP address, right? We're going to come there. Don't worry, guys. We're going to come there where we will attach a container to the non-network, all right? So let's do something. Let's now create our network, all right? Mnet. So this network has been created. So if I say Docker network list, I should have what? Mnet based on what? The bridge driver. So if I do a inspect, Docker network inspects who? My Mnet, the network name. So you see that it has taken from the subnet. This subnet is what? 172.18/16. Because this bridge network is already using 172.17. So it's giving out a new octet, 172.18. What if I don't want Docker to give me this subnet? This is the default subnet. It's picking from the default subnet and it's assigning it to networks. So I want to create my own subnet. So what do I do? So this is what I would do. I say Docker network create the network name. I'll call it C2net. C2net default driver, then subnet. My subnet is what? My subnet CIDR is going to be let me take from 192.168.10.0/24. Then definitely I will specify a gateway. I'll say what? Gateway is 192.168.10.1. So gateway is the first usable address in that network range. So I'll hit enter. So this network has been created. Take note, guys. Docker network creates the network name, the subnet is here, and the gateway is from here. Now, what do? I'll now say, well, Docker network list. Let's list it and see. So you can see I have my what? C2net based on what? The bridge driver. Let's inspect it. Docker network inspect within C2net. So you can see my subnet is based on what I defined. And my gateway is what I also defined. And the name of the subnet, the name of the network is name is what? C2net. The driver is bridge. You see that? Great. So we have seen how to create network. We've seen how to create network. We've created what? Mnet. So we also have what? C2net. Let me call it C2net. So I have what? C2net somewhere. Great. Now, let's now look at Docker network again, the commands. We've seen how to create network, all right? We've seen how to inspect network. We can list network, all right? We shall come to this remove network. So let's look at how to what? Connect container to network. But before then, I need to disconnect the containers. Now, what we have now, we have it that this guy, CentCon and Ubuncon are connected to the bridge network. So I want to disconnect these guys from the bridge network and assign them to what? The Mnet network. Let's see. So I'll come here. Now, I'll say what? Docker network disconnect. Let's look for help. Now, here's the usage. Docker network disconnect. Option, the network, then the container name. So Docker network disconnects. Disconnect who? CentCon from where? Sorry. Disconnect within bridge. From where? From CentCon. Let's hit enter and see. It was successful, but let's check. Let's inspect the container. So Docker inspect where? CentCon. So if I open this CentCon now, we come to network settings. You can see that there's no IP address. Secondary IP address, none. Secondary IPv6, none. So this container is just, there's no IP address in this container. So if I do a Docker exec, let's check. Docker exec CentCon 680. I'm now inside. So if I run ifconfig, you can see that interface has gone. There's no interface. There's no inet interface. We are only having what? Only one interface because this container is not attached to any network. So there's no network address. Now I exit. Similarly, I'll do the same thing. Docker network disconnect disconnect bridge network from where? Ubuncon. But before then, let's check Docker inspect Ubuncon. You can see this guy has what? IP address. Now let's remove the network from it. That's a Docker network disconnect. Disconnect what? Bridge. Bridge Ubuncon. Disconnected. Now let's check. Inspect. You can see under network settings, there is nothing. Nothing. So now, since we have disconnected, this is in the record. Okay. So since we have disconnected this guy from this guy. So this guy go like this. It's now disconnected. All right. So we need to connect this guy and this guy to the Mnet network. So their IP address is going to change as well. Now let's check that out. So now say what? Docker network what? Mnet. Okay, Mnet is based on 172.18, right? Mnet connect who? CentCon. Connect, sorry, I'm supposed to use the command connect. Connect Mnet to what? CentCon. Network Mnet not found. Is that the command? Is that the name? Docker network ls. Okay, MNT. Oh, sorry, MNT. MNT. Okay, MNT, sorry, not Mnet. MNT. So it has been connected. Now, let's also do the same thing for Ubuncon. Ubuncon connected. Now let's inspect them. So Docker inspect who? CentCon. You can see CentCon has a new IP address. Now it is what? 172.18. Before it was what? 172.17. Similarly, if I do the same thing with Ubuncon, we have what? This guy, .3, 0.3. All right, great. So now let's do an exec. Let's do a Docker exec. Docker exec dash it CentCon bash. I'm now inside of what? The CentOS container. Now, if I do ifconfig, I should see that this is my interface. Is now what? 0.2. Now I want to ping the Ubuncon. I'll say what? Ping 172.18.0.3. Ubuncon is .3, is pinging. Now, I told us earlier that when you are using a default network, you cannot ping the containers by their names. You can only ping them by their respective IP. But when you create your own network and attach the containers to that network, you can ping the containers by their name and by their IP. Let's check. So I want to ping Ubuncon. Ubuncon is going to respond. It is responding because they are sharing the same network. Not just that they are sharing the same network, but because it is a customized network. It's a network that I create. It's not system created. It's not system generated. Right? So with this, you can see we can talk to each other by our names. So if I exit and do similar thing the other way around, Ubuncon, I'm inside. So Ubuncon can ping what? CentCon by its name as well. So this is the play around networking. Now, let's throw a little spanner in the spoke. I have another network, CNET. CO, and I have another container called MySQL. Let me call it mycon. CO. This guy, I want to attach this guy to this network, CNET. I want to attach it to what? To CNET, C2net. Then I also want to attach CentCon to this CNET too. So it means that this container, CentCon, belongs to two different networks. It belongs to MNT and C2net. Now let's create this guy and attach it towards this guy. So come over here. Exit. Now, I'll say what? Docker run dash D dash name my con. Remember, it's MySQL, so I have to create environment variables. Environment variables, MySQL underscore root underscore password is equal to 1234. What else? What else? I'll define the name. Even if I don't define the port, by default it runs on 3306. So now I want to define the network. All right. So let me look for help. I should see some help. How do I pass network at the point of creating? Okay, I'll say dash network. Okay. All right, great. So let's look at that. All right. So dash network. So it has to be dash network. Then the network name. So the network name is what? Is C2 net, right? C2 net. Now from this network, I don't want Docker to randomly assign an IP address from C2 net subnet. I want to assign a specific IP. I want Docker to assign a specific IP. So let's look for help again. Let's look for help. Specific IP address. So even when we have specified the network, all right. So let's check. There should be an option. Thank you, IP. IP address, right? IP, then the IP address. So I say dash IP. Let's recall it. Remove this help. Dash IP. The IP address is 192.168.10.100. Now, from this range, from this network, I want Docker to give me this particular IP address. I don't want Docker to just assign me anyhow IP address. I want to give me this particular IP address. I think I'm okay now. I'm comfortable now. Then what is remaining now is the image name. The image name is MySQL. I think that's all. Hit enter. Let's see. So it's going to create this container, mycon, with the password, with this network, and with this special IP address from this network. I'm bringing this IP address from this network. That's what it means. So if I say Docker PS now, come on, guy, Docker PS, we should see what? Mycon, MySQL. All right, great. Now let's inspect it. So Docker inspect what? Mycon. So you can see that I have assigned an IP address of 10.100. I don't want Docker to give me, because if Docker should give me IP address, it will give me from 10.2. That's how Docker, from alphabetical order, from numerical order, from one to the end. That's how I do as in an ascending order. All right, that's how it does it. I don't want Docker to do it that way for me. I want to be specific, right? I want to be deliberate in choosing that IP address, right? So I choose what? 10.100. The network. Where is the network? The network is the driver is bridge. Now the network is what? C2net. Now you can see I have comfortably assigned this guy to this guy. Now I need to also assign this guy towards CentCon. Now let's go now. I'll attach that guy now. So I'll say what? I'll say Docker network connect. Connect who? Connect which network? C2 net towards CentCon. Enter. Connected. Now, if I say Docker inspect who? CentCon. You see that this guy has two IP addresses. It has from C2net. No, this is not C2net. It has from MNT. This is from MNT. All right. And this from what? C2net. You can see this is MNT. This is what? C2net. Now let's do a Docker exec. Docker exec -it CentCon bash. Now, if I do an if config, I should see that I have two interfaces. I have this first interface, and I have another interface, ETH1 and ETH2. So as this guy is now, CentCon can talk towards mycon. Mycon can talk towards CentCon. But mycon cannot talk to Ubuncon because there's no connectivity. It's only CentCon that can talk towards Ubuncon and what mycon because it belongs to what two network. Now let's try it and see. So this is CentCon. CentCon wants to ping mycon. CentCon can ping mycon. CentCon can also ping Ubuncon. It's responding. Now I exit. I come in with what? Ubuncon. Ubuncon wants to ping CentCon. You can talk to CentCon. Now Ubuncon wants to ping what? Mycon. It can't see mycon. I exit. Now let me do a Docker exec into mycon. I am now inside of mycon. Do I have ping here? I don't have ping here. What's I need to check what Linux distribution is this MySQL is based on. All right. So I'll say cat etc asterisk release. So this guy is based on Fedora, Oracle Linux. It's based on Oracle Linux. So yum is possible. So I can say yum install net tools. It will be rpm dash ivh net tools. Let me check. No such file. DNF. It's not there. Yum. Oh lolo. Look on. Really. I didn't realize. Oracle Linux server release 8. Server release 8. They get issue. They always get issue. All right, let me drop this version. Let me take 5.4. Let me delete it. Docker, because this image is based on Oracle Linux version 8. Right. So Docker rm-f mycon. Now let me recall that command. But this time around, let me use a 5.4. I can't see 5.4. 5.9. 6.0. Wait, let's check official Docker MySQL official. Let's check that. Okay, 5.7.44. All right. 5.7.44. 5.4.0 can actually take 5.4.0. Let's see. What was that? 5.7.44. 5.7.44. All All right, so this is going. I think this should be fine. So down. All right, so let's go inside. Let's do docker exec. There we are. So let's check cats etc asterisk release. So this is based on Linux 7.9. I think this should have yum. Perfect. It has yum. So what am I looking for? ifconfig. Do I have it? No. So yum install net tools. So it's going to install net tools for us. Here we can have ifconfig, and we can also have ping. Ping will be ping. I think so. Let's see. Why is it installing the whole community? Your net tools, you're installing everything. All right. So now I can do what? ifconfig. So I have my IP address, which is this guy. So now, do I have ping? I don't have ping. So I need to install ping. So I'll say what? Yum install ping. It's not available. Yum install iputils. iputils dash ping. It's not available. Now let me just say iputils asterisk. So iputils, yes. Say yes. So iputils now should have ping now. You can see ping is coming now, right? We now have ping. So I am on what? My con. So my con wants to talk to close this guy. My con wants to talk to what? Send con. Let's check. Ping send con. Yes, they can talk to each other. Why? Because they share what? The same network, C2net. Similarly, if my con tries to talk to Ubuncon, it won't go because there's no route. There's no route between my con and what? Ubuncon. But if I join this my con to Mnet, then my con and Ubuncon will be able to talk. So if I exit and do something, I say Docker network connect. Connect to connect Mnet to where my con connected. But now let me disconnect it. I want to show something. Now disconnect. Now I don't want, okay, let me connect back. Let me just show something. Now if I do a Docker inspect what? My con. You see that Docker from Mnet gave me what? 0.4 because it has given out 0.2, 0.3. The next IP is 0.4. I don't want Docker to give me this IP. I want to specify my own IP address. All right. So for that reason, I'm going to disconnect. Disconnected. Now let's connect again. So I'll say Docker network connect. Connect what? Mnet. Now I have to specify my IP address, but let's check help. Let's see help. So I can actually define IP address. You can see, I can define IP address. Now let's go there now. So I'll say what? IP. IP is 172.18.0.24. This is the IP I need to attach to my what? My container. Okay. What else do we need to attach? I think that's all. Then the container name, my con. Let's just check for help. Dash help. If we have other things, I can add link to another container. Link list, add link to another container. I've not done this one before. Link local IP sync, add a link. Okay, so let's just do our thing. Container name is what? My con. What is saying? Response from daemon. User specified IP address is supported only when connecting to networks with user configured subnets. Okay. With user configured subnets. I see. Ah. So if I had configured the subnets myself, then it would have been possible. Okay, I can't give it. So I have to stick to what Docker is giving me. Guys, take note to take notes. All right. I have to stick to what Docker is giving me. I see. All right, that's okay. That's fine. So Docker will always give me this, right? So now I'm connected to that Mnet. So now that I am connected to Mnet, look at my. So now my con can talk to Ubuncon. Let's check. I'll do a Docker exec dash it into where? Into my con, then bash. So now I want to ping Ubuncon. Definitely is going to, because we now share the same network. We now what? Share the same network. So far, so good, guys. Let me exit. All right. So that was the bridge driver. The bridge driver. So Docker network list. Docker network list. Docker network list. All right. Great. Great. Hmm? So now let's now play around this guy. Host. Let's see what host is all about. All right. Let's see what host is all about. Okay. Because you see now, my own local IP is what's my IP address? Obon Tafizon Fuyo. Tafizon Yakba. This is my own local IP. 10.0.2.88. All right. .88. So I want to see if I can communicate with the host machine. So you can see if Docker PS, I have these containers. All right. Can I ping either of them? Ping CentCon. I cannot. Ping 172.18.0.2. Whoa, 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 whoa. Why is it happening like this? You have to explain. You have to explain. .3. Ping, Adekomo. 192.168.0. Sorry, .10.100. All right. All right. Well, let me set the hosts. Then I can now explain what is happening here. All right. Let me set the host. Let's see what happens. I want to set the host. Let me check. Let me create a network. Docker network. Guys, open your eyes. Create. The network name will be my host net based on this driver host. All right. Based on the host driver, what is saying? Only one instance of host network is allowed. What kind of rubbish is this? Only one instance. That's fine. That's fine. But now let's connect Docker network lists. All right. Now there's a host network. All right. They say only one instance must be there, but you can have multiple instances of bridge. Now let's create a container and connect that container to this host network. So this is what I will do. So I'll say Docker run -d dash name. Let me call this guy hcon, right? So this guy is going to be based on CentOS, all right? All right, CentOS. So CentOS version 7. Then that's be git. And then that's all, hcon, okay? Then the network, sorry. dash dash network. Network has to be host. So it's speaking from that host, right? So now if I do a Docker inspect who hcon, let's check the host network. There's no IP address, right? But let's see how this guy want to communicate. I don't know. Let me see, maybe by the name or something. Now, this is from my base machine, right? This is from my base machine. Ping hcon. It's not going through. Inspect. There's no IP until I attach it in network. There's no network. The host network. The gateway, except I attach it in network. So let me attach it. So Docker network connect room C2 net to where hcon. So let me take a specific IP. Let me say 192.168.10.20 in that range. Container sharing network namespace with another container or host cannot be connected to any other network. Cannot be connected. So let me disconnect first. Why this guy do like this? Disconnect. So I have to disconnect. But we can't have, what's it used for? Disconnect host. Cannot be disconnected from host network or connected to host network. Container cannot be disconnected from host network or connected to host network. All right, guys, let's not waste much time here. So you can actually talk to the containers, all right, the containers from your host machine via their IP addresses. Why? Because their driver is bridge. So bridge, you're bridging the host network, which is the virtual machine network, with the network of the container, right? So there's connectivity between the host network and the container network. That's why we were able to ping the container network 168.10.100, right? So I'm pinging the container itself. So far so good, guys. That was Docker networking. Is there any query about Docker networking? Is there any query surrounding Docker networking? So I'll end this session so that's I'll end the session. Stop recording.